Welcome back to another episode, Talks with AJ podcast. I'm your host, and this is my co-host.
Poised with Style and Grace 22.
Today we have a special guest, Miss Arthur, Daphne Valcin.
Woo! Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the pod.
It is my pleasure to be here. I'm so excited to be in you all's presence.
Thank you so much, Daphne, for coming.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Well, it's truly an honor. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for accepting the invite to come onto this podcast because, like I had said to you upon inviting you, that I want to share you with the world. You are truly the First Lady of Excellency.
Wait.
Let me add that.
Thank you very
okay?
much. That's very nice
And
of you to say that.
So also, as my brother stated, Mrs. Arthur, she wrote a book. So, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What?
Becoming the Ripple, written by Ms. Valcin herself. This was released on September 4th, if I'm correct, of last year, 2024, right?
September
Did you do a
2024.
book signing for this?
No.
Okay, so let me be the
Yeah.
first. Let me be the first. Listen, I want my books and guys. Hardcover. I wasn't cheap. Hardcover. Okay? So I would love for the author herself to sign my book.
Right.
Please, guys, if you haven't gotten your book, please do so. Purchase this book. You can find it on Amazon. Purchase this book. She dropped a lot of gems in this book. So we're going to go on. So Daphne, while you're signing this book, I know I caught you by surprise, right, bro?
Hey, I know you didn't see this coming.
You didn't see that one
You
coming.
didn't see that one
right?
coming.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So as I stated to you earlier, I watched the previous podcast that you were on, and I learned a lot about Daphne because, it's been over 20 years, since we graduated high school. So there's a lot that I learned about you. One, I'll say your favorite color, blue. But for me, you associated with, the sky. But for me, the color that I want for you is gold, yellow. That's my favorite color for you is yellow, gold. Why? Because you shine bright like a star. You are a star in your own right, through your own merits, through all that you have done, right? So one thing, you were featured in the Forbes magazine. Let's talk about that. How was that? What was the feeling like? I mean, you're Haitian American. That's proud. That's really big.
That's major.
Going to school is one thing, but honey, you were featured in the Forbes magazine. Let's talk about it.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, KK, for your introduction, for the book, and just talking about that as well. So I'm so grateful for everything that I've been blessed to be able to do. And so at Forbes.com, I was approached by an organization called the Forbes Coaches Council. They invited me to be a member of that. And through that, had the opportunity to be in Forbes magazine online. And I was able to be in, I think it was 3 articles total. But in one, I remember seeing my face, basically a little blog that I wrote. And it was next to Brian Tracy, who's this famous celebrity leadership person, older guy, white hair. And I was like, I'm in Forbes and I'm right next to Brian Tracy. This is amazing. But so for me, it's very humbling. When I left NMB, so I live now in Georgia and I was born and raised in North Miami Beach, Florida. And when I left, I felt like whatever I do, it honors where I'm from. It honors my family, it honors my city, it honors my heritage. I'm Haitian American, all of that. So a win for me felt like a win for everybody. So that's how it felt. It felt exciting. It felt unreal, but it felt like it was a win for everyone.
For sure. Now, also in that same interview on the previous podcast you were on, you mentioned you spoke in your college graduation. Were you the valedictorian or were you someone elected you? Yeah, you were.
So I got this award. I don't even know how I ended up getting it, but it was the University of Florida Summer 2006 Outstanding Female Leadership Award. And so I was able to speak at the graduation. When I was at UF, I was involved in about altogether maybe 40 organizations. I started things. I brought people out into the community. I brought people out into Juvenile Detention Center, alternative school there. I danced, I acted, I modeled. I did all kinds of things there, but I also led a lot. I just spoke at the University of Florida last week to a group of students, actually Club Creole students, but I was talking to them about how important it is to not only for me not only to lead when I was at college, but to say, now that you know about credit, your friend should know about credit. Now that you know about how to do this thing or how to be in the workplace, your friend need to know that too. So I did that at the University of Florida, not only trying to be a leader and be involved, but help people to help each other more as well. So I got the opportunity to speak at college graduation as a result. Yeah.
Look at you.
It was amazing.
Okay. Now, another thing as well, you mentored over 400 clients, correct? And that's why you earned your master. Help me
Certified
out.
coach. Yep.
Okay, there we go. And also, what I also learned is that you mentored like 4 other countries, or what are those countries?
Yeah, so I have had coaching clients. I'm an executive coach, but those coaching clients have been career coaching, even life coaching, traditional executive coaching, so me helping senior leaders to be better in their roles, and also some business coaching over the years. Those clients were located in the UK, in China, in Canada, and the United States.
Okay. And I also learned too, now Daphne, okay?
Yeah.
Languages. You
Yes.
learned how to speak Creole in middle school, girl.
Y'all didn't know, yeah.
How
So
did that happen?
my peers were not aware of this. So when I grew up, my parents actually spoke English to me in the home. And so at my middle school, John F. Kennedy Middle School, my peers, we were like such a mix and a melting pot from different islands, different countries. And so I had a number of peers who were either Haitian American, like me, first generation American. Some of them parents spoke Creole, only Haitian Creole at home. And then we also had some people who came from Haiti to go to JFK. So there was so much Creole around me that I learned from my peers. And I also knew that my parents would speak Creole, Haitian Creole at the table, and I wanted to know what they were saying. So I used the learning from school to be able to make sure I was able to communicate with peers, but also to understand more about what my parents were saying in the house. And that's how I learned how to speak Creole. So now I speak English.
So were your parents like more Americanized?
Well, that's a very interesting point. I would say my mom is probably, she wouldn't mind me saying this, she's probably more Americanized in different ways, I would say. She was the cool mom. She still is the cool mom to me.
Okay.
She's the cool mom. Even when I went to college, I brought her on campus. People were like, "What's up, Miss Miss Charles, whatever." Everybody knew my mom was cool. But my dad was very stern, very strict. So for him, the speaking English was because he wanted to make sure that I had as many opportunities as possible. So not only did we speak English, he gave me packets of work to do at home. That's why I was doing really well. It's a big reason why I did so well in school. He made sure that my language, my grasp of language was very, 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 very sharp. But that's why he did. So even though it wasn't his first language, he would ask me about Latin words. We would talk about Latin words. We would talk about English words. He would have us do speeches in English at the table for Thanksgiving, me and my brother. Yeah. Which I didn't know back then what he was preparing us for. And I was shy. I don't know if y'all remember that. But because of that training, I was shy. Because of that training, it lended itself to me being able to now be able to speak in front of people and feel like I can have a grasp on that as well. But he was thinking that might be the right approach to be able to teach me. Yeah.
So your mom, although she is, you said she was Americanized. She's more Americanized rather. She did go to college, right? And earned a bachelor's degree, you said, at the age of 40?
Yes.
Awesome, man.
Okay.
That's dope.
Now, what did she earn a degree in? Girl, listen, I did my research.
Wow.
What did she earn a bachelor's degree in?
In nursing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
I
what's
tell a
up.
lot of people my mom's story, but she came here when she was 19. She learned English. She got her associates at the age of 25. She didn't know what to major in, but people were giving her advice when she was in New York. And she, got her bachelor's 25 after earning her GED here. And then at the age of 40, which means we were around, us kids were there, she got her bachelor's. She said she did it one class at a time and was able to do that for us and for our family.
Well, at least she got it done. That's all that matters.
She did get it done.
She got it done. Now let's go back to this book. What inspired you to write this book?
There's a number of things. So I would say, so the first story, the most important story is probably, there was this woman who wanted to book me for a speaking engagement. And it was going to be at a conference that was for women who were basically scientists and in food safety in some of the biggest food companies in our country. And so she said, do you have a book? If so, we'll buy the book. And I said, no, I don't have a book. So usually people then go and say, okay, well, no problem. Let's talk about travel, accommodations. And instead she said, well, she said, this is whatever month it was. This is April. She was like, honey, we have these different months before October. So let's get this book written. That's what she told me. Instead of just like letting me pass, she was like, you got time. Let's write. You should write a book. She was like, I will buy it from you. So she basically bought my book and was willing to buy 100 copies of my book before I even had a book idea to write. So I went to Facebook and asked my friends. I called up my husband last week. I'm like, this is my Facebook family. So I was like, hey, somebody said if I write a book, she'd buy it. I don't know if I should write it or not. And the reason why I didn't know is because I am a mom and I have 2 small children. They are now 7 years old and 9 years old. And what I've learned just in my experience as being a mom is time is important. And if I'm doing something, that means I'm not spending time with my children. So if I'm writing a book, it has to be for a very good reason. So one, I felt like it was a sign that this woman was basically sponsoring my book. She would be paying for 100 books. 2, when I asked people, should I write a book? People were like, yes, and here's what you should write it about. I got so much support that I wasn't expecting that much support. Then when I asked, what should I write a book about? Separate posts. People said beautiful things about me, me and what they thought I should write the book about. So I realized a few things. One, from a business perspective, just in case there are any entrepreneurs listening, my book allows me to be able to multiply me without me having to be in a certain space. So what that means is, let's say I sell 100 books for an event or even for an organization that's not having an event. That's 100 times however much the book costs. And those individuals get to experience the impact of me without me having to go there. Then if I'm trying to increase my revenue as a business owner and I already have a speaking engagement, the book actually puts thousands of dollars on top of my regular speaking fee in order for me to expand my impact. Lastly, one of the things that I realized, I used to do Facebook Lives every week at one point. And before that, I did them every month. And I remember I would get like 500, 600, 1,000 views during that time. This is before 2020. And then during 2020. People said, I got through nursing school watching those Facebook Lives. Wow. Somebody said I was in a really dark place and I saw a Facebook post that you did and I was able to find the light through that.
That's awesome.
I don't know who's going to read my book. I don't know what they're going to take from reading the book. So it allows me to be able to have an impact. When people read it, if they pass it to their friend, their niece, their cousin, lives can be changed. And I might never know that, but that's okay. Like, that's God's business between God and those people. Right. So it allows me to expand my impact in a way that I may never hear about as well. So those are just a few different reasons. And I should also say, this is my first time I'm saying it publicly. I have another book coming out. It is a workbook version of this book. 2 people were like, hey, I want to buy the book for my team. Do you have a workbook? And I said, no, I don't have a workbook. So now people can actually go through and do a whole bunch of exercises in the book and journal in order to be able to increase their influence and their impact professionally and personally in the world.
Awesome.
So how long did it take you to actually write the book?
It took me, I think last time, about 2 or 3 months maybe to be able to write it and then like edit all those different steps. This time with this workbook, it took me about 2 or 3 weeks. I was grinding to be able to get that out because guess what? I was re-invited to that conference to speak this year. And so this time, the women who I'll be speaking to will get a copy of that workbook.
Got it. So you started your business in 2014?
Yep.
Okay, so listen, honey.
So impressed.
Right? So prior to that, you were in corporate America, working for corporate America, or?
So before that, I did a mix of jobs that were in project management. I was director of community outreach, assistant director, and programs that were usually associated with nonprofit work or education or public affairs. My undergraduate degree is in public relations. My master's is in education. So one of the last, I would say, more corporate jobs that I had was working in public affairs for an education policy organization. And then I worked as it's called like a site coordinator for an organization that does a lot of work for the community in schools, in other kinds of nonprofits. Met my husband. I was going to get my MBA and work at a consulting firm. I already had everything lined up. I took my GMAT 3 times so I could get into a top MBA school. But when I met my husband, that actually had me switch my plans into entrepreneurship. Oh, wow. So the same month that I got engaged was the same month I took my GMAT the 3rd time and got that score that I wanted, and also the same month that I registered to be for my life coaching certification. So that actually wasn't my plan to be an entrepreneur. But interestingly enough, sometimes other people see stuff in us that we don't see in ourselves. When I was 20 years old, I was in Georgia just for a year, lived there, and I met a very wealthy man at an event my boss invited me to. It was an auction. This man was auctioning off an island at the event. What? And he told me that he owned this island, and he told me a lot of interesting things about him and his life. He lived a hard life, and he said to me that he only had a few months to live because of some bad decisions that he had made after he had gotten really wealthy. He said he had acquired a certain disease, and he was only had a few months. But he told me, he said, I'll give you until you're 30 years old for you to be an entrepreneur. And I said, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I like working for other people. I like my lunch times. I like them taking the taxes out for me. He said, no, I'll give you till you're 30 years old. You're going to be an entrepreneur. And at 30 years old, I became an entrepreneur.
Wow, that's amazing.
So how has it been, working for yourself? Your daughters are your employees now. Let me ask for my internet nieces. Are they on the payroll? I hope they're on the payroll.
They are on payroll.
Smart move.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's up.
My daughter's on payroll. So entrepreneurship is something that is a very special experience. Someone once said my first year in business, I heard a webinar, and they said everybody could be an entrepreneur, but everybody shouldn't be an entrepreneur. And I was like, oh man, that's real.
Why is that though? Why is that?
And I think here's why. The amount of work and discipline and resilience that I've had to have in my business is not, it's not easy. And just as a more specific example, so I had a good reputation in high school, middle school, I would even say elementary school, college, great reputation, lots of people who I cared about them, they cared about me. After that, I lived in D.C., was a finalist for Capital Cause Changemaker of the Year. So when I launched my business, I'm like, of course, I'm going to have loads of clients. It's going to be great. It's going to be so good. So I launched my business, and the first time I posted about, hey, I'm open for business. Anybody want to do consultations? Let me know. 0 people responded. I said, okay. 2 days later, I used an approach we learned in coaching school, and it's make things a win-win. So how can people feel like you're asking for something, but they're also getting something, right? And sometimes what people are getting is the ability to serve. So I said, hey, I'm launching my business. I need as many hours as I can to make sure that I'm getting my certifications. And, I'm open for clients, of course, but it would be so helpful if any of you could do a consultation, a free consultation, and have your friends or family do it too. So I'm like, can y'all help me? And I do have my Master Certified Coach certification partially because of those hours. Amen. So what ended up happening then was over 30 people booked consultations. I didn't think anybody was going to say yes to coaching at that point because I was humbled through that 2 days before that. But over half of the people said they wanted to hire me from the consultations. Then this is one of the things that makes entrepreneurship hard, fear of success or fear of failure. I don't know what it was. When they were like, Daphne, I want to hire you. Because I didn't even say, do you want to buy? At the end of the consultation, I said, hey, if you don't want to buy coaching, no problem. You're gonna do great anyway. That was how I closed it. I didn't sell anything. Oh. But the people would say, Daphne, I want to hire you. And guess how long it took me to get back to those people? Like 2 weeks. To tell them, I said, let me send you information. 2 weeks. You're supposed to send information the same day or the next day. I didn't do that. I waited way too long. People didn't respond to that. So I didn't know how to sell. And then once I did start actually trying to close sales to say, I would say something like this. I would say, all right, so this and that and da-da-da. And I would say, okay, so now I'm supposed to sell you the packages. Do you wanna buy the package? That's how I was.
So you didn't sound too confident
I
in
didn't sound
yourself.
confident.
Okay. All right.
So then people started saying, yeah, I want to buy it. So I started sending them the stuff, like their information for them to book. Then I was charging too little. So then I'm making money, but it's just a few $100s a month. So I'm hustling. I'm doing tutoring on the side, trying to bring in money to help support the family. I moved from the DC area to Florida, so I quit my job, not just be an entrepreneur, but because I was getting married. I launched my business 2 months before I got married. So I'm a newlywed. I don't have a full-time job. I launched this business, and I don't have that many clients.
Yeah.
That was hard. So December of that year, a few months after launching, I told my husband, I said, hey, look, I have credentials. I've had some work experience. Maybe I was hearing God wrong. Maybe I wasn't supposed to launch this business. I think I need to just go back to work. My husband told me, babe, this is what you said you wanted to do. How long do you think you need in order to be able to bring in enough income to make this work? I said, well, maybe 6 months. He said, well, give it 6 months then. In 6 months, I was able to leave. I had this 20-hour-a-week tutoring gig that popped up right around the time I was about to quit my business, all of a sudden. And then by that 6 month, I was able to leave that gig. About 3 months later, I left the last one-on-one tutoring client. I had enough money paying my health insurance, which was hundreds of dollars because we were thinking about getting pregnant, hopefully. And I was able to pay my student loans, over $400 a month. Wow. I was able to pay gas. So I quit all the other side stuff. And ever since then, I've been only doing my business. Wow. But I was tired. Yeah. It was hard. I was hustling before work, trying to do the things to launch my business. After work, I took a bus. I feel like it was an 8-hour bus to Atlanta from Miami, Florida or something. Or I don't remember where I was, maybe West Palm Beach. I took this, it's like a Greyhound mega bus to go to a conference to learn about business. Then I paid about $200 to go to a conference in Delaware to learn about how to grow my business. I fell on the way to conference session one day. My knees were bloody. My hands were bloody. I kept going. Went to the conference, took notes. 2 months after the conference, my revenue doubled as a result of what I learned at that conference. I hired that person as a coach. 3 months after that, my revenue grew by 600%. Oh, wow. But there was a lot of discipline and sacrifice. Who gonna get on a mega bus for 8 hours to go to Georgia? Who's gonna go to Delaware, fall, blood on my knees and my hands? And I learned I was pregnant during that time. Later, fell down, still went, took notes, doing what I need to do, and took the time to implement what I learned. So that you have to have a certain kind of hustle. Everybody don't have to do that. You don't have to bleed on your knees and hands to do that. But you have to have a certain push to say, even though it doesn't look like it's gonna turn out, I know because the learning I'm doing, the coaches that I've interacted with, the mentors that I've gotten, I'm going to put in work. If I'm working a job, I'm going to put in work before, I'm going to put in work after in order to take this business forward. Now, I was going to say kunya, but now because I was so excited, kunya. Now, so my business it's a 6-figure business, which means my business is bringing over $100,000 in revenue, but I still got to be disciplined. I still have to make time to do marketing regularly. I still have to make time to do sales activities regularly. But when I do the work that I need to do in my business, when I take care of my clients, when I show up, I get more revenue. I just closed a big deal on Friday. Okay. I told my kids we're on a road trip. I went like this. I said,
that's what's up.
They're like, what happened, mommy? I said, I closed a big client. My youngest, she's 7. She's like big, like a big person. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, big, like a lot of revenue, a lot of money. She was like, okay, mommy, okay. But when I put in work, I see the fruit. But it's a lot of work to put in regularly, a lot of self-discipline. And I say a lot of that came, I credit my daddy because he didn't play that and he was about discipline. But my band director from high school, Mr. Mustafa. Mr. Mustafa didn't let you rest. If you were like, oh, it's too hot outside, can I just sit over there to the side instead of practicing? He was like, no. Or if you don't get it right, he's basically had you do it 20, 30 more times. Football players out there practicing, band is out there practicing. We're taking laps, we're doing squats, we're learning. He's like, excellence, discipline. And I feel like now if I'm ever tired, I'm like, okay, Daphne, how do I keep pushing? Or because now I have kids, I have to balance differently. I say, Daphne, what is the most important thing for you to do today in order to be able to create impact in your business? But I think Mr. Mustafa actually helped me to understand, how do you keep going and how do you be resilient even when you feel like, I just want to sleep, I just want to chill. Yes, we need to have balance, I realize as an adult, but also how do you keep pushing when it's uncomfortable?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So with that being said, what motivates you in life to push as hard as you do,
That's a
besides
good
your kids? Because
question.
kids, put you in another realm. Like
That's a job within itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that it's a job,
Right,
but
but-
when you have children, like the life that you see that you want for them, and you want them to do even way much better than you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you're doing awesome. Like,
Thank you.
You're doing awesome.
Thank you
okay?
so much.
So I'm pretty sure maybe your daughters would be a president or something. But no, I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
You never know. You never
Yeah, you
know.
never know.
Right? So what pushes you? What motivates you to go as hard as you do?
So I think the number one motivator is my spiritual walk. So being a Christian. Since I was in elementary school, and it's funny, people hired me to be for them to get their career development or business development from elementary school and middle school and high school. But what was driving me then was I felt like through reading my Bible that God wanted me to be kind to others and to help others. So I did that. And for some reason, I was telling somebody this even yesterday, even some of the toughest people that I interacted in life, I feel like they felt it was genuine when I was being kind to them.
Yes.
But it came from God, be good to others. And I don't know if y'all know this. Do you know about the accident I got in when I was 17? Because I didn't tell people on my business, because my parents, they don't tell people your business. But when I was 17, I had a whole bunch of girls in my car from band practice, and we're driving to their homes. And we were listening to music in the car. We're listening to Jesus' Reason for the Season. We prayed before we got in the car. And we were jamming, though. The music was loud, jamming. So, and we're driving, and I run a stop sign. And a car hits me, 30 miles per hour hits me. A man got out of the car, because the car looked totaled, but a man got out of the car. I got out of the car. I had a Pontiac Grand Am. It was strong. Even though that car hit me on my driver's side, nothing happened to me. But the man came out, and he was like, everything's going to be all right. The other driver, he put his arm on my shoulder. And then a woman said, my neck, coming out the car. And I was like, oh, man. So make a long story short, I had pink eye for months, and I didn't put a word on it, but it was probably depression. I felt like I had put all these girls' lives in danger. And I was really big on being responsible. So I was very, very down. I felt horrible about it. But what I realized a few months after that experience is there's a reason why God allowed me to still be here. Yeah. So part of what drives me is knowing that I am here for a reason.
Purpose.
He could have taken me. I could have been taken in that accident. So what is my purpose? What do I need to be to my children, to my husband, to strangers that I interact with? Right. And I think what I've had to learn over the years is how to balance that, because I be doing too much. So I was working with kids in really rough communities for a number of years, and I would be like, you need me to help you type that up for the judge? All right, I'll drop that by your neighborhood, rough neighborhood, 10 p.m. Like, don't worry about it. I got you. Like, I was doing a lot of stuff and could have completely burnt myself out. So even though I know I need to operate in my purpose, the wisdom I have now is how do you balance that for health and to make sure my kids, they're getting all the time that they need. But really it's spiritually driven. And what I learned with my clients is when I apply that to the work I'm doing now, they feel it. When I'm in a speaking engagement and I'm helping a team to be able to be more cohesive or to be able to collaborate in a certain way, or when I'm working one-on-one with the client and my clients have grown their businesses to 6 figures or to multiple 6 figures, they know I'm genuinely in support of them and I genuinely believe in them. But it comes from that spiritual foundation of what is my purpose for this person that God has placed in my space.
Yeah, I love that. Now, let me, being that, faith and spirituality is what grounds you, so I'm going to ask you this. Now, did you go to church or l'église? Before you answer, there's a difference, okay? Church, Americanized, you have praise and worship. L'église, you have the louange with the Jericho, mi à la crase. And you got to put the emphasis, on the crase part, right? Okay, you got to put the emphasis on that. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, going to l'église, you into quasads, like the Crusades, the Revelations, 1 week long where the moms didn't even care if you had school the next day.
Yeah.
I got the best pastor from Dikini IET. Okay.
Yeah.
Church or l'église?
So I went to l'église for a few years in elementary school, and then we transitioned to church. So what my kids will see when I'm doing like praise and worship in the house, or like me and my mama, when we get together, we're like super hype. So I'd be like, Merci mon Dieu, hallelujah. And my mommy be like, Merci mon Dieu. Like we'll go back and forth with each other.
Right.
I visited her church every so often, like now as an adult. But elementary school, I would visit Emmanuel Church, which
That's
is
a big,
one of the first, from what I
Haitian
remember.
Baptist churches,
Yeah,
yes.
in Little Haiti.
In Little Haiti, yeah.
But I feel like that's one of the biggest churches I remember
One of the
back in
biggest
those
Haitian churches,
days.
yeah.
That was in the 90s. So they had an amazing youth and they had a great ministry. So I would go with my friend to church back in those days. So I went to a little bit of l'église and then mostly church.
So what is life
After
like
that.
in the Valcin home? Like, what is... Because, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know much about your husband because,
Yeah.
obviously, you met him...
Bobby,
not him.
right?
Bobby
Yes.
is his
Bobby.
name. Yes, of course. Girl.
Yes.
Shout out to Bobby. Shout out
Yes.
to Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby.
Okay. So what is life like? Because, they say opposite attract, and I know you like hype, okay? You're hype. And, just the pictures, looking at pictures of, you and your beautiful family, like he seems to be a little bit more chill
Yes.
versus Daphne that I know.
Yes.
Because once a beat drop, Daphne is
Once a
on
beat
that
drop, I'm on the
dance
beat.
floor.
So, yeah, remember the class reunion?
Yes.
Daphne
Okay.
was dancing.
We
Beat
saw
drop.
you.
You was getting down.
People who know me from Miami, Florida, North Miami Beach.
Yes.
Yeah, when the beat drops.
Yes.
Yes. So my husband was born in Brooklyn, New York, and moved to Lake Worth in middle school. And I thought he was quieter, and people at the church, we were going to, when we were dating, or he went to, because we dated long distance, they thought he was quieter too. Our first year of marriage, I'm like, you play too much. He likes to play. So he's Haitian American, and I find that, I think it's because he's from Brooklyn, and I'm from North Miami Beach, we have a similar way of being. So we play. We laugh. We say I'm sorry a lot as well. But he's super playful. Like our kids will just look at us just laughing and playing. And then I'm super silly. My kids know it probably better than anybody because I'm with them all the time. But I still, when a beat drops, I will dance. If my kids around, if other people around, my daughter be like, oh my gosh, her mommy be acting shy. But when it's just us, dance parties at the house, I do accents with them all the time. Like my youngest she's hilarious. She'll make everybody laugh as well. And my oldest now, if a beat drops, she's dancing. So we were at UF last week, and I took my kids with me. And there was music playing in like their food court. And my oldest was just like doing her little dancing stuff. She's like a more courageous version of how I was at that age. Because I feel like I was shyer, but I don't think she always has that. And then my kids read for hours. So they are good students. They make A's. Their teachers had said that they're leaders. But I think it's because I got from my parents that education is important, and it's important to try to have the kids operate in excellence. But I also want my kids to have fun and have good grades. So they actually used to play in the house peanut butter jelly, ice cream and cake because mommy played it and mommy was dancing. So Jasmine was like, "Can you play Alexa, ice cream and cake?" So lots of dance, lots of laughter, lots of fun, and trying new things. So I took them to a Japanese restaurant the other day. We tried these different kind of foods. I want them to, like, basically what you inferred, I want them to go be great in the world. Yeah. But I want them to also be kind. And I want them to be smart about their business, about their money, about just how they
You are teaching them
operate in the world.
financial
I'm teaching them
literacy.
financial literacy.
Yeah, yourself and Bobby.
Yes. And so they're learning and they're interested. Like Gabby asked me, we had this thing we're doing like Wisdom Wednesdays, and they could ask me any kind of question. We could talk about a certain topic. And so I was like, what do y'all want to talk about? Gabby said, I want to know the buildings. Like, how do people get the buildings to be able to have their stores? And I was like, oh, you mean like how do people have stores in the buildings? Like how that works? So I was talking to her about like leases and how businesses are. And she was like, okay.
Real estate. So she's into real estate.
Yeah,
Right.
I think she's into real estate. So they, I really want them to be people who are successful in a lot of different ways. Who I just don't want them to struggle. I don't want them to struggle. Or if they struggle, not struggle in ways that they don't have to because they don't have the information. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're gonna be all right.
Yeah, they have both you and Bobby,
And
of
Bobby,
course.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to not be all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bobby's I should say my husband, he's in seminary to be a pastor. So
okay.
he would like to be a pastor
I can see it.
as well.
I see it.
So he is working on that. So we also be doing Bible study in the house.
Right.
Okay, so
And
me saying
things
first
like
lady,
that.
I was correct in saying the first lady. You see? I said the first lady. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Pastor wife.
I correct. Chapeau bas.
Pastor
Hats
Bobby.
off.
Yes.
Miss
I actually
Pass.
met Bobby. I actually
Was
met
it?
him.
Where was it?
I met him. It was at Andrew's
Oh
going
my
away.
gosh.
Yeah,
yes.
that's where I met Bobby.
Yeah. So you met my
Yeah,
husband.
I met Bobby.
Yeah,
Real
he
cool
seems quieter, but he actually can get real hype.
Yeah, real cool guy.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
very
much.
laid back, very chill.
I think he's more extroverted than me though.
Oh,
So
You think so?
I
Well,
think
I don't
so.
know him, so let me not say.
I feel like I'm an ambivert. Like I love people so much, but then I also like going and reading by myself and like go hike up a mountain or something by myself. Whereas Bobby's like, where are all the people at? Like for my birthday, he for him, he wants everybody in the house. He wants to throw picnics for everybody. So whereas I'm more like, okay, that's fine, we can do that. Or if he sees somebody he knows in the store, he's like, hey, or somebody I know, he's like, babe, don't you know them? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't. They're shopping. I don't want to bother them. So he actually can be more extroverted than me. But you're right, opposites attract. So there's definitely ways we're very opposite. Like he wouldn't be dancing in public if a beat drop, but I will be.
So you pouring so much into people. What is quiet enjoyment for you? You did say reading a book, but what else is like quiet enjoyment? Like what do you take pleasure? Just Daphne.
Yeah.
No kids, no husband,
Yeah.
no other mentoring clients,
No
just
mentoring,
Daphne.
yeah.
Just Daphne.
I've been having to rediscover what that looks like. So a few things, and part of it, it's funny because I think moms, I was in a mom's group and somebody asked the question, what do you do? What do y'all do for fun? And all the moms were like, what do I do? What did I do for fun? We all had babies at the time. But so for me, I think it's being outside, like just sitting and looking. Like some of the Gumun back in the day used to sit in like a chair. We all had the same plastic chairs and they sat outside. I like sitting and just looking outside. I like riding my bike. I don't get to do that enough. I rented a bike. I had a speaking engagement. It was at a resort. I rented a bike and I rode across the beach and it felt beautiful. So, and then I like hiking up mountains. Interestingly enough, Bobby and I started dating at the top of a mountain. I was going to hike by myself and I was like, I'm going to hike up this mountain next weekend. It's going to be so fun, or in a few weekends from now. And he's like, well, I'm going to be in Georgia too. I was like, okay. So I was like, you can hike up the mountain with me. And that was one of my last time hiking by myself because I ain't hiked by myself. And then, yeah, it's been a while. But hiking up the mountain or hiking in general by myself, just taking a walk. I like those kinds of things. Trying to bring more of that.
And
to
I
my
remember this walk was in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
life. It was. How you know that?
Facebook.
Y'all are on it over here. I'm like, what you, y'all,
Yes,
you and Bobby been talking?
We came prepared.
Very good.
With
Wow.
with all that you accomplished, have you ever felt what am I looking for? The least support from those closest to you? Because there's a saying, that you always get the least, support from those closest to you. Have you ever
Yeah.
experienced that?
That's a very interesting question.
Because
So,
with you saying that you started the business, you didn't get much people, even with you putting it out there. So that's why it brought me to ask you that question.
So what ended up happening, what I learned is in America it takes about 9 to 11 touches is what this was a stat like 2015. They said in America it takes about 9 to 11 touches with customers before they buy from you. But what I think happened in our world since then is that people are immersed in information. Companies email us every day. Even an individual, it could be an accountant, they email you every day. So I think it's, in my opinion, 9 to 11 touches with you, interactions that resonate. They have to watch a Facebook Live maybe 9 times or 11 times that resonate specifically with them before they purchase. So what ended up happening was so slowly but surely I had more and more clients. Then about 2 and 3 years in, people started saying, I've been watching you for 2 years and I decided to reach out. I was following you for 3 years, but I decided to reach out. So I think people were still trying to figure out, is she legit? What do her results look like? Is she going to stay in this for a while? And then they started hiring me. And then 3 years in, they started referring people to me. So people started telling friends and family. I thought that I should give people $100 if they refer people to me. At the same time, I learned about how do you wow your customers, right? So I was like, what can I do to take it to the next level how I treat my clients? So people started referring to me. I'm trying to give people $100, and they're like, why are you giving me $100? I'm like, because honestly, I sent out an email about $100 incentives for people who refer people to me. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know about that. I think it was because I was wowing them, and the trust, know, and like factor was growing. People say people buy from people they trust, know, and like. So I got support from them. I would say every so often, I do talk to people who may not necessarily support entrepreneurship. And my parents say, don't put your business out there. So I might not tell them how much money I'm bringing in the business. Right. They just know I'm an entrepreneur. So one person told me, dear family member, not close family member, but he was like, Daphne, you should apply to be a teacher. And I was like, oh, I have a job. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. He said, oh, yeah. You should apply to be a teacher. It was like I didn't say I have a job. I have my own job. Yeah. So I definitely, which I understand. I get it. Like, he was trying to look out for me. I think that's great. So every so often I will have someone say something like that, right. Where they're just like, okay, like, you got a business. Yeah, I know what that means. You're not bringing in any money, which I get it. That's no problem because, again, my parents say everybody don't have to know your business. But the people who do want to support will come. And in the first, I would say, like 5 years in my business, over 95% of my clients were people who I knew, who I had no idea people I knew were going to be my clients. And then they referred people, and those people referred people, and then strangers came every so often. So now it's more of a mix. But the first few years, and I think it's because people trusted me. So, and just again, for any entrepreneurs who are listening, some of the first things people said who purchased my services. One said, Daphne, I don't really know what you're doing right now. It was a few months in. She said, but I know you were on fire in college and you were on fire now. So put me down. Like, I'm going to be your client. I was like, but you don't even know what I do. But my reputation, just being good to people, apparently had people hire me. And someone else said, yeah, I know you're doing some career coaching stuff, and I know you were excellent in college and you're excellent now. So I'm gonna have you utilize me as a client and my wife. So it was interesting. It took a while of being consistent. And somebody else I know, she's from, I think, Little Haiti, but she was a wonderful client. And she said, she was like, Daphne, you've been consistent. She was like, for about 5 years, every single week, I saw you post every week about business stuff, like ideas, information, results. And she said, that's why I hired you, because I saw that you were consistent. So all those things help. But yes, I thought nobody was supporting me in the beginning, but I think they just needed to watch me.
And trust you.
And
build
trust
that
me
trust.
for a long time.
So before we close out, I have to test your Haitianness. So Haitian meter. You speak some Creole, yeah?
I do
You
speak some,
Creole?
yeah,
Okay.
Spanglish,
So,
yeah.
do you listen to compass music? Compa.
I listen to the old compa. I don't know anything about the new compa.
That's this guy.
So
Him too.
my kids will, I'm like, beady, beady, bum, bum. The kids will be like, beady, beady, bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da. We're all singing the old, c'est un vice, c'est la plaisir.
Top Vice.
But all the
Okay.
new
That's that Top
stuff,
Vice.
the new stuff, I don't know what's going on.
Got it. What's your favorite Haitian dish?
Cabouit. It don't matter if it's
Cabouit,
décollé.
or do you like it fried or do you like it stewed?
I like it
On sauce.
stewed.
Stewed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had legume today, by the way.
That's my favorite. Legume is my favorite.
I had legume. It was good.
Got it.
That's my favorite too. I used to make it, but I haven't in a while. My husband's waiting.
So in closing, what would you like to say to the viewers?
So I'll say that I don't know where you're coming from, and if you're trying to thrive in your career, you're trying to thrive as an entrepreneur, you're trying to thrive as a parent, but you don't have to be what you've been through. You don't have to be your challenges. Know that there's something on the other side. I told you about an accident I got in where I almost died. I told you about this man who told me I was going to be an entrepreneur, and I was like, no. And I did. I told you about feeling like giving up, but knowing that I had something in me, a gift that could be used to help people and to glorify God, really. And a whole bunch of things produce fruit. So whatever it is you're trying to produce fruit in, continue to keep pushing. Learn about resources from shows like this one so that you can do the thing that you're meant to do.
Love it.
Woo!
Love it. Thank you again.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you,
much.
Daphne.
This
Thank
was
you
so
so much.
fun.
Thank you so much.
This was so fun.
Guys, I want to thank you for tapping in with the podcast. I'm going to ask you guys, please subscribe, hit the like button. It's going to help the platform grow. Also, where can they find you on social media, Daphne?
So you can find me on Instagram. It's my name, Daphne Valcin. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I think those are like the best places to find me. And my website, you can look at daphnevalcin.com and it'll pull my website right up.
Awesome. And also, guys, you can follow me on all social media platforms. One word, Talks with AJ Podcast. You can also follow me on my personal Instagram account, desirable_AJ. Thank you again. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.